Hi folks, Allgood here with SixMoonDesigns. Today we're going to show you how to pitch the Owyhee 2-person tarp. Unlike a traditional tarp, the Owyhee has 360 degrees of perimeter no-seam netting at the bottom and in the vent to provide bug protection. In addition, this tarp features a removable bathtub floor made from sewn nylon. By design, this tarp can be pitched at various heights depending on how much or how little airflow you would like inside the shelter. One can vary the height of their trekking poles between 45 to 49 inches depending on conditions. The higher will provide more ventilation and the lower is more ideal for stormy weather. The Owyhee requires a minimum of 2 trekking poles and 6 stakes to set up. The typical height, and what we'll show you today, is with the trekking poles set at a height of 46 inches or 117 centimeters. To start, you'll lay out the shelter flat on the ground, and you want to point the head into the wind. To determine which end is the head and which is the foot of the shelter, I recommend grabbing the peak and shaking the tarp. The shorter end is the head. Now that the tarp is orientated into the wind, we'll begin by staking out the 2 corner guy lines at the head. Ensure that all your corner guy lines are at their maximum length before setting your stakes. Now we'll go to the foot of the tarp and stake out the 2 corners there. The best way to do this is to pull the tarp taut in line with the other corner and then back off 6 inches and stake your guy out. Now with the 4 stakes in the corners, we can insert our poles into the inside of the tarp with the handle fitting into the apex and the tip into the grommet at the bottom of the netting. Once this is done, you can pull out the guy line and stake it in the ground. Then use the tension lock at the top to make any adjustments. Now we'll go over to the other side and repeat this process. Now that we have 2 poles in and all 6 stakes, we can tension all of our guy lines for a nice taut pitch. With the tarp perfectly pitched, simply unzip one of the doors and crawl inside to clip it and adjust your bathtub floor. A few do's and don'ts to remember. Do extend the guy lines to their maximum extent. Run the guy lines all the way to the ground. Do set the stakes in the order listed. Since the canopy floats off the ground on the top of the poles, it's important to achieve a balance side to side and front and back. Do close the vestibules before setting up the tent. This aids in getting the best alignment of the stakes and reduces tension on your zippers. Do allow the canopy to rest for a half hour before retensioning the tent. This allows the fabric to relax. Do any additional tensioning with the adjusters on the main guy lines and the corners as needed. Don't try to raise the perimeter of the tent by using long stakes and terminating the guy line several inches off the ground. This is somewhat counterintuitive to normal logic. When you set up the tent this way, instead of the canopy and sidewall raising, they will tend to collapse instead. This will cause the corners to dip, resulting in reduced headroom and ventilation. The Owyhee tarp, with its asymmetric design and full perimeter netting, makes for a spacious, fully bug-protected 2-person shelter. With the various pitch heights, the shelter is ready to take on any weather you throw its way, while keeping you safe and comfortable. Thanks for watching SixMoonDesigns, and remember, go wild, live young.